This is St. Clair College, headed by its chairman and president, Dr. Clarita G. Adelam, and duly recognized by the government, with the following recognition, accreditation and awards. Bureau of Immigration Accreditation, to accept foreign students. Approved accreditation to accept foreign students. This is St. Clair College, headed by its chairman and president, Dr. Clarita G. Adelam, and duly recognized by the government, political with the following recognition, GR number 108, and awards. Series of 2000. Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English and Mathematics. Approved accreditation to accept foreign series of 2001. ACFS Bachelor of Elementary Education and GR number 08 Higher Series of 2001. Bachelor of Political Science and Computer Science. GR number 1. GR number 05. Series of 2003 Secondary Education major in Business Administration major in Accreditation. GR number 01. 2001. Series of Bachelor of Elementary Education Science and Hotel Administration. Series of 2000. Bachelor of 2011 Computer Science. Bachelor of Science and Tourism. Series of 2003 Secondary Education major in Business Administration major in Accreditation. Series of 2001. Series of Series of 2011. Series of 2011. Business Science. Bachelor of Science and Social Science. Series of 2000. Business Administration major in Accreditation. Series of 2003. Series of 2015. Track, Tech Voc, Strand, Home Economics, Food and Beverage Services, Bread and Pastry Production, Housekeeping, Tour Guiding Services, Travel Services, Caregiving. GP number SHSO258, Series of 2015. Department of Education. Complete Nursery Kindergarten Course. GR number P047, Series of 2002. Complete Elementary Course. GR number E024, Series of 2002. Complete Secondary Course. GR number S05, Series of 2005. Technical Education and Skills Development Authority. Programming NC4. Computer Technicians. Data Encoder. Computer Hardware Servicing. Hotel and Restaurant Servicing. Housekeeping NC2. Commercial Cooking NC2. Food and Beverages Services NC2. Bartending NC2. Baking and Pastry Production. Travel Services NC2. Front Office Services NC2. Tour Guiding Services NC2. Caregiver NC2. Call Center Agent NC2. Medical Transcription NC2. Household Services NC2. Emergency Medical Technician. AXQ accredited. Level 2 accreditation. Association of Christian Schools, Colleges and Universities. Royal Institution, Singapore. RIAEIO. 201700027. Award of Distinction FAPSA. Federation of Associations of Private Schools and Administrators. Award of Distinction Caprice. Kalaokan Association of Private Schools. Acer Academy Platinum Member. Platinum Award Acer Academy. PBAD League Champion. 2019 PBAD League Foundation Cup Champion. This is St. Clair College, the leading edge in online education system and School of Life Skills. Now, signing on.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. And where there's doubt, your faith in you. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where there's sadness, ever joy. O Master, grant that I may never seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, in giving to all men that we receive, and in dying that we're born to eternal life. And in dying that we're born to eternal life. Hope of the future lies in our hand to greet tomorrow's dream. With just one voice we raise your name. Oh, hail our dear Saint Clair. Inspired by your dreams and aspirations, and goals for all humanity, we lift our voices, raise your banner, proclaim your cause on high. For your achievements and goals are a light to our path, the soul of all wisdom. And you're a model to us, those in need of your light, the hand in the Master's touch. Hope of the future lies in our hand to greet tomorrow's dream. With just one voice we raise your name. Oh, hail our dear Saint Clair. Inspired by your dreams and aspirations, and goals for all humanity, we lift our voices, raise your banner, proclaim your cause on high. For your achievements and goals are a light to our path, the soul of all wisdom. And you're a model to us, those in need of your light, the hand in the Master's touch. Oh, hail, sweet
Today is September 18, 2023, and we are live via St. Clair Online YouTube channel for our Senior High School Voucher Orientation Program for the school year 2023-2024. This is your teacher, DJ Adi. Good afternoon and welcome, class. Today's discussion po ay very important para sa ating mga senior high school students. Kasama na rin po ang ating mga parents ng ating mga estudyante because today we will be discussing the implementing guidelines o ano nga po ba mga dapat tandaan, sundin. Kasama na rin po ang mga kailangang requirements na ipasa para po sa ating voucher sa school year 2023-2024. Kaya naman po i-make sure na simulan at tapusin po ang ating discussion ngayon sa, again, live sa St. Clair Online YouTube channel. Kaya kung meron pa kayong mga classmates, kaibigan o kakilala na hindi pa nakatutok ngayon sa ating live, ay send na po sa kanila ang link po sa ating St. Clair YouTube channel para mapanood po ang mga napakahalagang mga topics na i-discuss natin in our today's program. Gaya po ng kagawian natin, nakakamiss, batiin muna po natin ang ating mga clearance, ang ating mga senior high school clearance na nakatutok ngayon. So i-shout out po natin, no? Nandito po kasama natin, good afternoon po from ABM, sabi ni Tristan Jero Frugala. Hi Tristan, thank you for watching. Kasama rin natin, no? Si Raven J. Velasco of ICT 12-4. So kung meron kayong mga classmates or advisors o sino man ang gusto nyong batiin, o pwede yung i-type po sa ating chat box at i-shoutout natin sila live. So tingnan natin, kasama rin natin si Lynette Roque of ABM 12-8. Ayan, kasama rin natin si Lawrence Malena. Ayan, maraming salamat naman sa iyo. Shoutout din kay Jed Toffy Bautista. Kasama rin natin from UMS 12-6 naman siya. Shoutout din natin si Marie Chris Texon of FNB 12-4 under the supervision of Ma'am Marilu Poliran. Ayan. Shoutout pa, no? I-type lang natin para mabati natin kayo dito sa ating live dito sa St. Clair YouTube channel. Again, mga estudyante ng senior high school, kung meron pa kayong mga classmates, kaibigan o kakilala na nag-aaral dito sa St. Clair College sa senior high school, i-send na o ipakalat na natin ang ating link sa ating live today para mas maraming makapag-join sa atin. And also very important reminders to our grade 11 and grade 12 students. Sinend po natin sa inyo mga dear advisors ang link, ang ating Google form link kung saan kayo po ay mag-a-attendance. I-make sure po na kayo ay makapag-attendance through our Google form at i-attach po ang screenshot ng live na ito at i-upload po yan kasama ng inyong attendance. Muli, no? I-screenshot nyo na po kayo, no, sa ating 267 viewers po. I-screenshot nyo na ang inyong participation. Tapos, i-fill up na po natin ang ating Google Form attendance. Ang link po ay sinend natin sa inyong mga advisors. Huwag po kalimutan. At napakahalaga ng inyong attendance sa araw na ito. So, i-continue pa natin ang ating shoutout. Kasama rin natin, pa-shoutout naman po. O hindi na nilagay yung pangalan, no? Nilagay nila ang ICT 11.5. So, hello po sa lahat ng ICT 11.5. No, pa-shoutout din po kay Cassandra May Veniegas of ABM 11.3. Shoutout Jaysha Karil from Arts and Design 11.1. O, meron din tayo from Angelica S. Imperial of Fumes 12.4. Ayan, dumadami na tayo, nakakatuwa naman. No? So don't forget again to sign up for your attendance. No? Shoutout po kay Rizel Jasmine Mosra of ICT 11.3. Kasama rin natin dyan. Hello daw po, Clarion, sabi ni JZ Nicolor Reyes. O shout out John Lawrence Cruz. Good afternoon po from ABM 12.3, sabi ni Tristan Frugal. Ayan. So baka meron pa kayong mga gustong batiin o gustong may pa-shoutout, ay i-type lang po sa chat box para mabasa natin dito sa ating live program. Ayan. Hi Sir Ali, hello din sa iyo. John Kenny Panteliano of UMS 12.4. Ayan. Kasama na si Mary Grace Estera of ABM 12.3. Brixie Angela Matabalan of UMS 11.2. Ayan, napakarami ng ICT at UMS. Very good, no? Kasama rin natin si Cornella Raylan V from ABM 12.3. Ayan, dire-diretso lang po ang pag-type at pag inyong mga greetings at maya ibabasahin po natin sila live na live. Ayan, no? Reminder po again, wag na wag pong kalimutan na mag-shout out dito sa ating attendance, no? Ito nakalagay na dito, kasama rin natin si ayan, Sir RJ Adalia, who's watching right now. Hello, good afternoon po, Sir RJ. Arts and Design 12.1. Ayan, no? Hello din po kay Ma'am Princess Balansaga, advisor po ng ating Arts and Design. Okay. Gusto rin pong batiin natin ang ating President of St. Clair Group of Schools, Dr. Claire Adalim po who's watching right now with us. Yan, kasama rin po natin dito si Gingerbread. Ay, ganda naman ang pangalan. Si ano pala, nickname niya pala yun. Ang kanyang pangalan ay Aini June Nisayama of ADM 12 Ayan, dumadami na tayo. We're now at 270. So, ipakalat pa po natin ang ating link sa ating St. Clair YouTube live program today para mas marami pa makapanood. Again, today ay di-discuss natin ang pakahalaga ng implementing guidelines o ano nga ba yung mga reminders o dapat sundin at dapat tandaan sa ating voucher para sa school year 2023-2024. Muli, babalikan natin ang ating mga shoutouts, mga pabati. At this part of the program ay lahat tayo ay sabay-sabay na i-welcome ang welcome remarks ng ating principal from the Senior High School Department. Bigyan po natin ng virtual applause si Ms. Maria Rebecca Palad. Ayan, once again, palakpakan natin virtual applause at mga heart reacts naman dyan for our principal of the Senior High School Department, Ms. Maria Rebecca Palad. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi, good afternoon.
Ayan.
Dear President, Dr. Clarita Adalem, our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Ernesto Ray G. Adalem, our VP for Administration, Dr. Ernesto J. Adalem, Attorney J. Paulo Adalem, Attorney Petronilo Alarcon, Ma'am Malen Sapanta, Sir Adi, our dear teachers, parents, students, a pleasant afternoon. Thank you for connecting with us today for our orientation with regards to the voucher program of the senior high school. For today's orientation program, our dear President will give us her inspirational message. Attorney Petronilo Alarcon, the Director of the Office of Student Affairs Services, will discuss on our school rules and regulations. Attorney J. Paulo Adalem, our Board Secretary and Legal Counsel, St. Clair Group of Schools, will highlight on the implementing guidelines of the Senior High School Voucher Program. The documentary requirements will be given to us by our dear Sir Adrian Roque, and we also have to get to know our dear Miss Malen Sapanta, guidance advocate. My dear students and teachers, you will be enlightened all the more with regards to the senior high school subsidy in this very important orientation. Once again, thank you and good afternoon.
Ayan, once again, a round of applause for our dear Senior High School Principal, Ms. Maria Rebecca Palad. Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Palad. Ayan. Okay. So ituloy na natin ang ating mga shoutouts para sa ating mga live viewers. We're now at 280. Medyo konti pa ito, no? Kaya naman, i-send pa natin ang links, i-share pa natin ang ating mga links sa ating mga kaibigan, kakilala mga classmates po ninyo dito sa St. Clair College. Again, napaka-importante ng ating mga pag-uusapan today. Ayan. Sabi ni Mark Anthony Cortez, shoutout naman po from UMS 11-4. Kasama rin natin si Dwight Villariza of FNB 12-4. Ayan. Si Russell Tumangan, nandito rin siya kasama natin. Shoutout sa iyo. Jerome Brutal. Shoutout daw po kay Green Brian. Ayan. Banog. Ayan, from Arts and Design 12-1. Batiin din natin. Shoutout kay Kurt Angelo Dantes of FNB 11-3. Ayan. Sir Ari, pa-shoutout naman po. Jeric Josue of UMS 11-10. Ayan, maraming salamat sa iyo. Shoutout din po natin. Ayan, no? Pa-shoutout June Capilos. Ayan, hello sa iyo, June Capilos. Ayan, kasama rin natin si Marcasan Comedia. Ayan. So, dear Senior High School, no, Clarence, itutuloy natin ang ating shoutout maya-maya lamang dahil ito na po ang napaka-importanting part ng ating programa. Kaya naman, I am advising all of our students at ating mga magulang na kasamang nanonood ngayon ay kumuha na po tayo ng pen at paper, no? Or ang ating mga notepad, i-ready na po natin para po mailista natin o ma-take note po natin ang mga napaka-importanting guidelines o dapat tandaan po sa ating voucher program for school year 2023-2024. Okay? So kuhain na ang ating mga pen at paper, mga lapis at papel, pati ang mga notepad, ihanda na po at ilista ang mga napaka-importanting detalyeng i-discuss ng ating Board Secretary at Legal Counsel na mga kasama natin today. Ayan, handa na ba tayo? Okay, so handang-handa na ang ating mga senior high school students. No? Kaya naman, to our students, let's all give a virtual applause again to our legal secretary, our board secretary and legal counselor of St. Clair College. A round of applause for Attorney J. Paulo Adale.
Good afternoon to our dear parents and students. This orientation on the Senior High School Voucher Program is in accordance with the guidelines set forth by the Department of Education and the Private Education Assistance Committee, or the PEAs. Okay, so for this part of the orientation, I will be discussing the brief background and or the legal basis of the Senior High School Voucher Program, the salient provisions of the DepEd's Voucher Program Guidelines, and Republic Act Number 10173, otherwise known as the Data Privacy Act of 2012, in relation to the processing of personal and sensitive information of the students under the voucher program. The Senior High School Voucher Program has solid legal foundation or legal basis. Primarily, our 1987 Constitution, specifically Article 14, Section 1, guarantees the right of every Filipino to accessible and quality basic education. Also, Section 2.3 of the same article of our Constitution mandates the state to establish a system of subsidies and incentives to deserving students. Lastly, considering that the state cannot accommodate all Filipino students in public schools, Section 4 of the same article recognizes the complementary roles of public and private institutions in our educational system. So, to implement the subsidy programs in partnership with the private education sector, the Congress enacted Republic Act Number 8545, or the Expanded Government Assistance to Students and Teachers in Private Education Act, or the EGASPE, and Republic Act Number 10533, otherwise known as the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, which included the senior high school program to the basic education level. The EGASPE, as expanded by the Enhanced Basic Education Act, provides for the voucher program. Grounded on the principle of public and private schools partnership, the Senior High School Voucher Program provides for a mechanism to give financial support to qualified students, which only demonstrates the government's commitment to maintain the viability of private education and in further recognition of the private education sector as a key partner in the delivery of quality basic education. So at this point, we should already know that the Senior High School Voucher Program has been put in place to achieve the following educational outcomes. Number one, accessible quality education for all students. Number two, to strengthen complementary roles of public and private education institutions as enshrined by our Constitution. And efficiency in the allocation of the government subsidies. Okay, moving forward, I will be discussing the salient provisions of the Department of Education Order number 19/2017 and DepEd number 20 series of 2023, or for brevity, the DepEd Voucher Program Guidelines. For this portion, I should be able to impart the key principle, the key points of the DepEd guidelines. Number one, the qualified voucher recipients. Number two, voucher applicants. Number three, applicable voucher values. Number four, voucher validity and redemption. And lastly, terms of the voucher program. Now, first question, who are qualified voucher recipients under the program? At the moment, the previous DepEd guidelines have been recently revised by this DepEd Order number 20 series of 2023. This new DepEd guidelines provide for two categories who are automatically qualified students, meaning no need to apply for the voucher. But please take note that even if it states here that they're automatically qualified, does not mean that the students or the parents will no longer submit the documentary requirements under the guidelines. Later on, we will discuss each requirements for each category. Okay. So who are automatically qualified under the voucher program? So we have categories A and B. First, category A, or students who have completed their grade 10 in public junior high school in school year 2022-2023, including those who completed their grade 10 in state universities and colleges, or SUCs, and local universities and colleges. Please take note that they should have completed their grade 10 last school year. Otherwise, they do not fall under this category. Category B. These are grade 10 completers in school year 2022 to 2023 from private schools who are Education Service Contracting Grantees, or ESC grantees. Take note again, they should have completed their grade 10 last school year. Otherwise, not automatically qualified under the program. Okay, so next, we have students who are not automatically qualified under the voucher program. Therefore, they need to apply for the voucher to be considered as qualified voucher recipients. Okay, so under the guidelines, we have 4 categories for voucher applicants. So we have category C, or school year 2022-2023 grade 10 completers in private schools from the school year immediately prior to the incoming school who were not ESC grantees. In other words, grade 10 completers from private schools who are not ESC grantees. As mentioned earlier, category B, ESC grantees. For category C, grade 10 completers, last year grade 10 completers, but not from ESC junior high school. Okay. Second, category D, or grade 10 completers who completed their grade 10 prior to school year 2022-2023, but not earlier than 2016, and had not previously enrolled for grade 11. So regardless of where the students completed their grade 10, whether it's private or public, if it's not or if they not completed last school year, they would fall under this category, provided that they had not previously enrolled to grade 11. Because if they already enrolled in grade 11, they are disqualified under the voucher program. So for example, a student completed his or her grade 10 in a public junior high school in school year 2020 to 2021. He or she will not be considered as automatically qualified. Okay. he or she will fall under category B, and therefore he or she needs to apply for voucher. Okay. Next, we have category E, or learners who have passed the Alternative Learning System, or ALS, accreditation and equivalency, or A&E test for grade 10 not earlier than 2016, or ALS learners who have passed the portfolio assessment for grade 10 and had not previously enrolled for grade 11. So basically for all students, they are not also not automatically qualified. And take note that they should not have enrolled previously as grade 11. Otherwise, they are already disqualified. Lastly, category E, or learners who have passed the Philippine Educational Placement Test, or PEPT, for grade 10 not earlier than 2016 and had not previously enrolled for grade 11. So PEPT learners or passers for the last category. Okay, next, under the DepEd guidelines, here are the minimum requirements. Take note, minimum requirements to be submitted by the QVRs, or the qualified voucher recipients, to the school. For category A, or as previously mentioned, those grade 10 completers from public junior high schools, SUCs, and LUCs, the most important requirement would be SF9, or the report card, duly issued by the public junior high school, or SUCs or LUCs, bearing a learner's reference number. Okay. For category B, or those grade 10 completers from ESC schools, the most important document would be the ESC certificate issued by the private ESC school or the PAAC National Secretariat. And next, categories C, D, E, and F, or those who are not automatically qualified, or the voucher applicants, would be the QVR certificate, or other term would be the OVAP, or OVAP certificate. This can be obtained from the PAAC National Secretariat. Now, for the application of the QVR certificate through the online voucher application portal, or the OVAP, you may visit the PAAC official website for more info. For those who may have missed the application period, kindly wait for further announcement from the PAAC through the official Facebook and website. Okay, next, for the applicable voucher values under the DepEd guidelines, considering that our school is within the National Capital Region, or NCR, the voucher amount for categories A, E, and F, or those students coming from public schools, ALS, and PEPT passers, is 22,500. Whereas for those categories B, C, and D, or those mainly coming from private schools, regardless of ESC status, the voucher amount is 18,000. So take note, even if you're grade 10 completer from an ESC junior high school, the voucher value would be 18,000, not 22,500. Okay, so now let's proceed with the voucher validity and redemption under the DepEd guidelines. As usual practice, the voucher shall be redeemed in the first semester of the school year. Also, as part of the requirement under the DepEd guidelines, we wish to remind our dear parents that it's important that the students should attend their classes at the very least during the first semester of the school year, in order for them to not lose their QVR status. In addition, under the guidelines, the voucher covers 2 school years, regardless of the number of years it takes for the recipient or students to complete their senior high school. So, for example, repeaters. Regardless of the number of years you will repeat, or the student will repeat a certain level, the maximum number of school years that he or she can be a voucher beneficiary would be 2 school years only. Okay, next. The qualified voucher recipients or the students redeem their voucher by the very act of enrolling in the voucher program participating senior high school, like here in St. Clair College. Please note, however, that aside from this, QVRs or the students shall satisfy the admission requirements of the school. Once the students have successfully enrolled in the school and complied with the documentary requirements under the DepEd guidelines, then they will become voucher program beneficiaries or VPBs. Okay, so by the same opportunity, we would like to remind our dear parents to submit to us the admission requirements to the school. No, it is the mandate or the instruction of the Department of Education and the PEAC to remind the students and parents that the VPBs or students under the voucher program are not ordinary students. According to DepEd, they receive subsidies from the government. So the least that the parents or the students can do is to religiously comply and complete all the documentary requirements as provided by the guidelines. Okay. Ang pinaka-importante po na kailangan namin at this point would be the report card of grade 10 completers from public schools. Okay? So, yun po, urgent requirement. Okay, next. For new students or incoming grade 11 students, please submit the following: Philippine Statistics Authority or PSA copy of the birth certificate of the student, SF9 for public school completers, or report card for Form 138 from the previous school, or Form 137, good moral certificate, 2 pieces each of 1x1 and 2x2 ID pictures. Then, as an additional requirement for grade 10 completers in private schools, they should submit the QVR or ESC certificate, as the case may be, and as also discussed a while ago. This also includes those learners who are ALS and PEPT passers. Now, for transferees who are incoming grade 12 students, and actually not only transferees, for grade 12, if the student is a public completer during his or her grade 10 in previous school years, the students are also required to submit SF9 or the report card, because the submission of such document is a new requirement under the DepEd guidelines. So please note SF9 for public school completers. Okay, for transferees, PSA copy of birth certificate, this for grade 12 students, report card or Form 138, and again, SF9 if coming from public junior high school, Form 137, good moral certificate, 2 pieces each of 1x1 and 2x2 ID pictures. We highly encourage you, our dear parents, to submit the aforementioned requirements as soon as possible or as soon as they become available, so that there would be no problem when the school processes the voucher of the student beneficiaries. Next. For the student beneficiaries to continue in the voucher subsidy program, they shall be promoted to grade 12 and shall continue to study in a non-DepEd or private senior high school, such as St. Clair College. No maintaining grades are required from the student beneficiaries within a school year. But it is a requirement that the student or the beneficiary should at least pass or be promoted to the next level. Otherwise, he or she will be disqualified under the program. Okay. Next, this is the most important part of the DepEd guidelines, to say the least. A student beneficiary loses his or her subsidy if he or she does any of the following: drop out in the middle of the school year, or he or she does not re-enroll in the following school year. Number 3, fails to be promoted in the next grade 11, as mentioned a while ago, or is retained as the same grade level or a repeater. If the student transfers to another senior high school within the school year, transfer to a DepEd or public senior high school. We cannot stress this enough. That once you have enrolled the students, the students with the school, there is already a contractual relationship created between the two parties. You as the student's parents or guardian on the one hand, and the school on the other hand. And as mentioned, dropping out of or transferring to another school during the school year will not only result in breach of the contractual obligation, but also a violation of the DepEd guidelines, which may ultimately result in the disqualification of the student beneficiaries in the voucher program. So as mentioned earlier, next, a student beneficiary may only transfer to other non-DepEd senior high school only after completing grade 11. So if a student or the parent wishes to transfer his or her student to a different school, please make sure that the student will finish his or her grade 11 in the same or within the same school. Otherwise, that student will be disqualified. And more importantly, it should be done before the start of the school year and with leave or permission from the school. Next, student beneficiaries who wish to retain their voucher subsidy may shift to another track or strand. It is allowed under the DepEd guidelines. But only after the first semester of grade 11 in the same school, after completing grade 11, which means both semesters in same school or in another BP participating senior high school. For the last part, okay. So that will conclude the guidelines. Important reminder, if the student beneficiaries do not fall under categories A and B, regardless of private school or public school, please consult with the office of the principal, okay, to ensure that you are well informed of your voucher validity and the voucher applicable values. Okay, most importantly, under category B. Okay, those who completed their grade 10 regardless of private or public, but the same was completed not in the previous school years, let's say school year 2020 or 2018, 2019, you are not automatically qualified. Okay, you fall under category B. Therefore, I advise you to consult with the office of the principal to clarify. Okay. So for the last part of my presentation, I will discuss briefly the salient provisions of RA number 10173, otherwise known as the Data Privacy Act of 2012, in relation to the processing of personal information of the student beneficiaries under the voucher program. So first, what is personal information that the law seeks to protect? Under Section 3, Paragraph G of the Data Privacy Act, personal information refers to any information, whether recorded in a material form or not, from which the identity of an individual is apparent or can be reasonably and directly ascertained by the entity holding the information, or when put together with other information, would directly and certainly identify an individual. So, next, from the verbatim definition, personal information under the law, just remember these key phrases. Any information which can identify an individual. Examples of these personal information are names, addresses, place of birth, contact information, and email address, and whatnot. Next, aside from personal information, we also have sensitive personal information under Section 3, paragraph I of the Data Privacy Act. So, based on the enumeration of the sensitive personal information, what's applicable in our situation would be the educational background or the information of the students, no? As this has reference to the education of the data subject. So you might ask, why is there a need to distinguish between personal information and sensitive information? It is because the law treats both kinds of personal information differently. Personal information may be processed provided the requirements of the Data Privacy Act are complied with. On the other hand, the processing of sensitive personal information as a general rule is prohibited. Although the Data Privacy Acts provide for specific cases where processing of sensitive personal information is allowed. Like for our instance, if it is necessary for a party to fulfill his or her contractual obligations. In this case, the school has an obligation to comply with its obligation under our contract and the DepEd guidelines. Therefore, there's a need to process even if it's the sensitive personal information of the student, like the educational background and status. Those are necessary information for the processing of the voucher program. Okay, so next, here are some of the personal data or sensitive data that we process in relation to the senior high school voucher program. Learner reference number, full name, ESE ID, QVA certificate, number, date of birth, gender, date of first attendance, track and strand, tuition fees, and other educational data. Next. So why do we need to protect the personal and sensitive information of our data subjects? Primarily, it builds trust between the students or parents and other stakeholders on the one hand, and the school on the other hand. Secondly, it prevents and mitigates risks because keeping personal information in a secured manner could avoid costly incidents and penalty from the government. And more importantly, it is mandated by the law, or as mentioned, the Data Privacy Act of 2012. As an educational institution, it is incidental to the operations that we handle and process the personal and sensitive information of our students and other stakeholders in order to fulfill our contractual obligations and comply with the pertinent law and regulations as previously mentioned. Next, under sections 17 and 18 of the implementing rules of regulations of the Data Privacy Act, the processing of personal data shall be allowed subject to the compliance with the law in adherence to the principles of transparency, legitimate purpose, and proportionality. For transparency, the data subject must be aware of the nature, purpose, and extent of the processing of his or her personal data. That is why we included this the discussion of the Data Privacy Act or protection in today's orientation to apprise you as parents or as guardians of the nature and purpose of the processing of personal and sensitive information of the students. For legitimate purpose, the processing of information shall be compatible with the declared and specified purpose, which must not be contrary to law, morals, or public policy. At this point, it is already clear that the processing of personal information of the students is necessary for the performance of the contractual obligation of the school and its compliance with the relevant law and regulations of the voucher program. And last but not the least, the principles of proportionality. The processing of information shall be adequate, relevant, and suitable, necessary, and not excessive in relation to a declared and specified purposes. For purposes of the voucher program, the school will only process personal and sensitive information of the students as required by the DepEd guidelines or as required by the Department of Education and the Private Education Assistance Committee. Okay, so this ends my presentation. Thank you for listening and good afternoon once again.
Ayan, once again, our Board Secretary and Legal Counsel, a round of applause for Attorney J. Paulo Adale. Maraming salamat po at talaga naman napakarami nating na-take down notes, no? Kayo po ba ay naglista, no? Ako ay nakikinig at naglilista rin, no? Ito po ay ginagawa natin para sa ating mga mahal na estudyante kasama ng kanilang mga gulang para po maging smooth, no? Ang application po ng kanilang voucher program para po dire-diretso ang pag-aaral ng ating mga anak, no? Kayo mga estudyante for school year 2023-2024 for grade 11, no? Hanggang kayo ay mag-grade 12. So, magkaroon na tayo ng konting recap para po sa mga na-discuss. Nung una po ay na-discuss natin dyan, siyempre yung mga legal basis po ng senior high school voucher program, no? Kasama na rin po dyan ang ating mga objectives, no? Para saan po ba, ano po ba ang aim, ano po ba ang goal, kung bakit po meron tayong voucher program para sa ating mga students for senior high school o mga grade 11 at grade 12. At kanina, no, na ang isa sa mga paborito ko at nilista ko talaga ay yung category. Napaka-importante na po, no? Halimbawa ko ay isang estudyante ay ilagay natin o alamin natin so anong category ba tayo nagfo-fall, no? Kung ano bang category natin na estudyante. Di ba meron tayo, no? Recap lang natin very quick. Meron tayong una, yung category A. Pag category A, again, automatic na meron kang voucher. So, hindi ka na mag-a-apply, no? Basta, i-submit mo yung mga requirements na sasabihin ni Sir Ati, no? Well, nabanggit na kanina, pero uulitin pa rin natin yung mga documentary requirements. Again, no, pag category A, automatic na meron kang voucher. Basta ma-submit mo yung mga requirements. Kung ikaw ay nagtapos sa isang public school ng grade 10 ng school year 2022-2023. Ibig sabihin, last school year, no? Kasi tayo ay ngayon ay nasa school year 23-24. Category B naman, kung ikaw ay estudyante na nagtapos ng iyong grade 10 sa isang private school na ESC grantee. So pwede natin ma-confirm yan, no? Ibig sabihin, ito yung school na pinanggalingan natin ng grade 10 na automatic o sila ay ESC grantee. So pwede natin i-confirm yan sa ating previous school na pinanggalingan kung sila ay ESC grantee school. So yun ang pag ikaw ay category A, category B, automatic, meron ka ng voucher basta, again, reminder, ma-submit mo ang mga documentary requirements. Para naman sa category C, no, ito naman yung mga estudyante hindi automatic again. Hindi automatic meaning kayo ay mag-a-apply pa, no? Kailangan i-apply ang inyong voucher sa category C una kung ikaw ay isang grade 10 school, grade 10 private school completer pero hindi ESC school. No? Again ikaw ay hindi ESC pero private school at hindi siya automatically granted ng ESC, kailangan pa rin natin mag-apply ng voucher. Okay? That's category C. Kung category D naman ay yung mga hindi po nag-apply ng grade 11 noong school year 22-23, no? Halimbawa, kung ikaw ay estudyante noong 2020 to 2021 ng grade 10, pero hindi ka muna hindi ka muna grade 11 ng school year 2022-2023, mag-a-apply ka pa rin ng voucher, no? Meron din tayong category E. Yung category E naman natin, ito yung mga learners naman po natin na nagtapos sa alternative learning system, no? At letter E, ito naman po yung mga learners po na nagkumuha o nakapasa sa pamamagitan ng PEP exam or PEP test. Again, napaka-importante po, no? Reminder po sa ating mga estudyante kasama ang ating mga magulang na alamin po natin kung anong category po tayo bilang mga estudyante para maiwasan po natin yung mga or ma-avoid po natin yung mga hindi inaasahang payments or circumstances. So again, ang automatic po na may voucher, no, ay ang categories A at B, no? Again, category A, public school completer at private school naman pero ESE grantee. Sa mga category C, D, E at F na nabanggit po natin, no, kayo po ay kailangang mag-apply, no, hindi automatic, mag-apply po ng inyong voucher program. Ngayon po, no, maganda rin po na na-discuss o naliwanag po natin na ang voucher po na makukuha natin ay depende po yan sa category po nasaan po tayo, no? So halimbawa katulad dito, no? Kung ikaw ay nagfo-fall under categories A, E, F, tandaan na A, E, F, ang iyong voucher ay nabanggit na 22,500. Kung ikaw naman ay category B, C, D, ikaw ay makakakuha ng 18,000 amount of voucher. Kasi baka mamaya ma-surprise tayo, hindi natin na-expect na may kailangan pambayaran, no? So kailangan po na alamin, napaka-importante, no? Uulitin natin yan. Ang inyong category ay malaman ninyo. Gaya po ng nasabi ng ating board secretary, legal counsel, kung kayo po ay hindi sigurado ay makipag-ugnayan po tayo sa Office of the Principal to our Ma'am Rebecca Palad o kasama rin po natin ang personal natin si Ms. Langlang or si Ms. Shernal Sautong, maaaring po kay Sir Adi, no? At po sa inyong mga advisor. Napaka-importante, especially po sa ating mga grade 11 po ngayon, no? Na ma-determine nyo po ang inyong category, again, para maiwasan po natin ang mga unexpected circumstances. Ngayon po, no, kung meron kayong, again, pen and paper, ay i-discuss na po natin ang mga requirements na napakahalaga po ninyong ipasa. Okay? Huwag po natin itong kalimutan dahil ito po ay napakahalaga. We just want to reiterate po kanina, no, kahit po sinabi kanina na automatic po sa categories A at B, kailangan pa rin po natin magsabit o makumpleto ang mga requirements po na babanggitin na makikita nyo po ngayon sa inyong mga streets. Okay? So ayan, screenshot din po natin, o mas maganda ilista po natin, no, para matandaan po natin. Okay, una po dyan, no, again, automatically qualified, category A, public grade 10 completer for school year 2022-2023, last school year. Ito po ang mga kailangan, no, very urgent na po ito. Kasama po dyan, unang-una, no, top priority po natin ang photocopy ng grade 10 report card or tinatawag natin SF Rider School Form 9. Yan po yung pinakamahalagang maipasa na po natin, no? Again, photocopy of grade 10 report card. Pinapasa na po yan upon enrollment, no? Pero kung hindi pa po na ipapasa, ay ihabol na po natin yan sa madaling panahon. At original po, no? Original po na grade 10 report card. Isama na rin, si Xerox na rin po natin yan, okay? Pero importante po yung original, syempre kasama po. Kasama rin po dyan yung ating PSA birth certificate. Ayan. At ang 2x2 photo po ng ating mga estudyante. Biwanagin lang po natin, this is aside po sa ating admission requirements. So, ito po yung mga requirements na sinasabit po natin para po sa inyong voucher. Kaya po, kung maganda po, no, para maiwasan po natin ng any unexpected circumstances ay masabit po natin ito, especially sa mga automatically qualified. Kasama na rin po dyan ang category B, no? Tinatawag natin ESE grade 10 completer against school year 22-2023. Una po ay ang ESE certificate po na makukuha niyo po yan sa inyong previous school o inyong grade 10 school. At syempre kasama po ang inyong original copy of your report card, ang inyong PSA birth certificate at ang 2x2 photo. Okay? So again, kung ikaw ay galing sa public card, PSA birth certificate 2x2 photo, kung ikaw naman ay galing sa private, no, na ESE school, kasama po dyan additional requirement natin ang ESE certificate. Nakukuha niyo po sa inyong previous school. Para naman po sa mga not automatically qualified o ibig sabihin mag-a-apply po o kailangan mag-apply, ito po ay para sa category C at D. No? Kailangan po natin siyempre ang inyong QVR certificate. Ito po ay once na nag-apply po kayo ng inyong voucher at na-approve po ito ay makakatanggap po kayo ng QVR certificate na again kailangan po nyong ipasa dito sa ating paaralan. Kasama na rin po dyan again ang inyong report card. Original po yan. Ang inyong PSA birth certificate at ang inyong 2x2 photo. Okay, so pinaka-importante dyan again ang QVR certificate at ang inyong report card. No, at kasama rin po dyan ang iba pang napanggit. Again, kasama rin po sa mga hindi pa automatic o kailangan pa mag-apply ang categories E at F. No? Kung ikaw ay category E, ikaw po ay Alternative Learning System or ALS completer. Kung ikaw ay nagtapos sa ALS. Siyempre, kailangan dyan, no? Ikaw ay mag-a-apply, so ibig sabihin, kailangan mo rin mag-submit ng QVR certificate. No? Kailangan din po ang photocopy ng inyong ALS Junior High School Level Certificate of Program Completion. Siyempre, sa mga nagtapos po ng ALS, ay binibigyan po tayo ng ALS Completion Certificate kasama po na yung ipapasa. At ang inyong 2x2 photo. Okay? Kung ikaw po ay category F, siyempre mag-a-apply. Kung nag-apply, meron din po kayo dapat makuha at maipasang QVR certificate. Kasama rin po dyan ang Xerox at original po ng inyong PEP Certificate of Rating. No, kung ano po ang rating na nakuha natin from the PEP test at ang 2x2 photo. Ayan po. No? So magsasubmit din po tayo ng mga, o magpo-post po tayo sa inyong mga advisors. So katulong po ay inyong mga advisors sa mga category na ito para po meron kayong mga reminders sa mga dapat ipasa. Again, we just want to reiterate po, lalo na po ang ating mga school form 9 o ang report card po sa mga hindi pa nagpapasa. Ito po ay isa sa pinaka-importanting document po na maisabit natin dahil ito po ay bagong requirement po ng PEAC na nangangasiwa po sa ating voucher. Ayan. So again, kung meron pa po tayong hindi sigurado o kung sa pang mga itanong po about their categories o mga requirements, ay makapag-unayan po tayo sa Principal's Office with Ma'am Rebecca Palad po. At ang mga personal, kasama na rin po dyan ang inyong mga advisor. At ito po, isama ko na rin po ito. Ang requirement naman po kung kayo ay transfer. Ibig sabihin ay nag-grade 11 po kayo sa ibang paaralan at dito po kayo sa St. Clair College nag-enroll for grade 12. So kailangan po natin yung inyong certificate, voucher certificate po na inisod ng inyong previous school, kung saan po kayo nag-grade 11. Tanungin nyo lang po sila ng kanilang transfer out certificate. Doon nyo po sa kanila kukunin yan. Halimbawa, doon ka sa ibang paaralan na grade 11, doon po kukunin. Kasama ang birth certificate, kasama po napaka-importante. Report card po ng grade 11. At syempre po, ang 2x2 photo. Okay? So, ayan, nailista ba? Malinaw ba? Sige nga, tingnan nga, basahin nga natin dito sa ating live. Kung tingnan natin yung mga live, Okay. So, dapat ating mga estudyante, very good, medyo marami na tayo, pero napaka-importante talaga na kayo ay nakinig at umattend sa araw na ngayon. Kasi ang gusto po ng St. Clair College po, lalo na sa mga magulang po na nanonood, ay maging maayos po, organized at matiwasay po ang subsidy o ang tulong pinansyal po na binibigay ng gobyerno sa ating mga mahal na estudyante para po sila ay makapagtapos ng matiwasay under the subsidy program po ng ating government. Kaya po ginagawa po natin to para maiwasan po natin ang anumang problema o hindi natin ina-expect na financial circumstances. Ayan po. Sana po lahat dyan ay na-list down po natin yung mga importanteng reminders, especially ating mga requirements. Ang ating po mga requirements sa mga papasa po ay bukas po ang ating registrar's office. Pwede rin po tayo sa ating lobby, sa ating enrollment area, at pwede rin po sa principal's office sa inyong submission ng mga requirements na nabanggit. Yung mga hindi pa po natin nababanggit na mga, o hindi nyo pa na ipapasa, ipasa na po natin yan sa mga nabanggit natin mga opisina. Ayan. Okay. So tingnan nga natin po, kung may mga naintindihan ba, pwede ba tayong mag-thumbs up sa ating comment section? Ayan, mag-thumbs up tayo kung naintindihan pa, ha? Okay, so i-shoutout na rin natin. Very good naman. Okay, thumbs up or heart react naman po tayo dyan. Tingnan natin. Ayan. Okay, so very good, Ayan, napakahalaga po. Ginawa po natin to para well-informed po ang ating mga estudyante at ating mga magulang. Okay? Ayan, maraming salamat po. At this part of the program naman po, ayan, ay bibigyan tayo. Siyempre, kailangan, no, tayo ay maging maayos at kailangan maging smooth ang ating school year 23-24. Kaya naman po nandito ang ating Director of the Office of the Student Affairs and Services para bigyan po tayo ng reminder sa ating mga school policies and regulations na kailangan po natin talaga sundin at laging isa puso, isa gawa at isa isip. Nandito na po palakpakan natin, no other than Attorney Petronilio Alarcon.
Good afternoon, students, grade 11 and grade 12. Natutuwa po ako kasi nakafollow din po ako sa ating live orientation. At I would like to congratulate yung mga students natin for thumbs up, naka-heart, pumapalakpak pa iba. Ibig sabihin po, very clear, ang paliwanag po ng ating corporate secretary and legal counsel of the school, Attorney Paulo, at andyan din po ang ating debonair na senior high school focal coordinator, Sir Adi. Ngayon, pagkatapos po natin malaman yung mga dapat nating pong tandaan tungkol sa ating voucher, hayaan niyo pong sariwain naman natin kayo. Yung mga grade 12, alam ko po, alam niyo na. Pero syempre, meron po tayong mga bagong grade 12 at doon po sa ating mga bagong grade 11 na katatapos lang nilang mag-grade 10 sa iba't ibang public school at private school dito sa Metro Manila at sa mga karatig, Bulacan, Quezon City, at yung mga iba'y galing pa sa mga probinsya. Talagang mahaba po ang ating school rules and regulation. Lamang, hayaan nyo, let me take this opportunity na paalala sa inyo yung mga importante. Lahat naman po yan importante. Lahat po yan mahalaga. Pero gaya po niyan, we can view this in our website, yung ating school rules and regulation, para malaman nyo po at guided po tayo. But ito po yung mga importanteng bagay na dapat huwag nating kalimutan. Siyempre, higit sa lahat, dapat lahat ng kausap ko ngayon at nakikinig sa akin ay meron po silang St. Clair College registration form na ikaw ay patunay na naka-enroll ka sa amin. So alam niyo naman yung reg form natin, no? Mamaya, gaya po ng ginagawa ni Sir Adi, re-reviewin niya kayo. At dapat, pag ni-review niya kayo, hawak niyo yung reg form niyo. Andyan sa tabi niyo. Ibig sabihin, officially po kayo nandito sa ating dakilang paaralan na St. Clair College. Furthermore, yung ating po mga estudyante ay meron din po naka-stapler. Kung di po ako nagkakamali, reviewin din ka ni Sir Adi. Meron naka-stapler na official receipt yan. Naka-stapler doon. So ibig sabihin, pag meron po kayo nitong mga dokumentong to, ay talaga naman po, you are officially kapamilya, kapuso, ka-St. Clair, klar yan dito po sa ating paaralan. At huwag po natin kalimutan, marami na po mga estudyante. By the way, nakatingin po sa atin ng ating Director for Online Education, yung mga schedule nyo ng kanilang pagkuha ng picture ng ID. Ha? Baka nakakalimutan nyo. Baka may schedule kayo ngayon. Dapat andito kayo sa school at nagpapakuha kayo ng picture na mamaya ipapaliwanag ni Sir Adi yung tinatawag nating digital passport. Kaya po, students na may schedule ngayong araw na ito, September 18, ano pa ang hinihintay nyo? Pumunta na po tayo doon sa designated room at magpakuha na po tayo ng ating free school ID. Ano po ibig sabihin nito? Pag meron na po kayong reg form, meron po kayong nakakabit na official receipt, meron na po kayong free school ID, ano po ang ibig sabihin nun? You are a bona fide student of St. Clair College, grade 11 and grade 12. So, tara na. At baka schedule nyo, nakakalimutan nyo. Kasi nag-aaral kayo, nagbabasa kayo, nakakalimutan nyo. Tingnan nyo ngayon yung inyong mga cellphone. Baka ngayon po yung schedule nyo. Tara na at pumunta at bumalik kayo kung kayo ay nakauwi. Ano pa po ang magandang reminder namin? Alam niyo po, kung may mga magulang na nakikinig sa akin, ang gaganda po ng inyong mga anak, ang gwagwapo ng inyong mga anak na lalaki, lalo po pag nakasuot sila nung kanilang blazer. At yung mga uniform na isinusuot ng aming mga grade 11, talagang naka-corporate attire. Parang ang feeling mo talaga yung anak mo ay talagang professional ang dating. Naka-blazer, naka-coat, at pumapasok po sila araw-araw. Classmate, kung ikaw ay YUMS, ikaw ay ICT, baka bukas makita kita, nakasuot ka nung tinatawag natin proper attire for grade 11 and grade 12. Ano pa po mga importanteng bagay na dapat ipaalala namin ni Sir Adi? Dapat po yung ating proper attitude, grade 11, grade 12, inside the school premises. Ano po ibig sabihin nun? Pag nakita nyo si Sir Trami along the corridor, ano po ang magandang gawin? Good morning, Sir Trami. Good afternoon, Sir Trami. Yan. Makita nyo po yung sa online natin. Good morning, Ma'am Joy Naturales. Makita nyo si Sir Adi. Ano po yun? Yun ay pagrespeto. Hindi lang po yun ang proper attitude. Pagdaan po natin, pagpasok pa lang sa ating gate. At ang ating mga security guard ay nag-check, ibigay din po natin yung proper attitude. Nasa loob ka na ng school, along the corridor, inside the classroom, let us show the proper attitude, the proper respect to our advisors, to our teachers, because yan po ang tunay na pag-uugali ng isang Clarian. Kaya nga po, natatandaan nyo, o reviewin nga natin, di ba Sir Adi, ano ba yung core values? Mamaya tatanungin sa inyo ni Sir Adi yun. STCLARE. Huwag po natin kalimutan yun. Isa puso po natin yun. Isa isip po natin yun. Ano pa yung ating vision at mission? Ano ba ang St. Clair? Pag yan ay inyong nailagay sa puso, nasa isip, na isagawa, talagang ito po ang ibibigay ko sa inyong premyo. Sapagkat ipinakita nyo ang isang tunay na Clarian. So, reviewin natin. Registration form, official receipt, school ID, school uniform, proper attitude, inside and outside. Bakit po ang isang tunay na Clarian, hindi ka lang magalang sa loob ng ating paaralan kahit dun sa labas? Bakit po? Dun ka makikilala, dun tayo maiiba sa mga ibang estudyante. Sa loob ng school, mabait, magalang. Sa kapwa estudyante, sa magulang, sa teacher. Pagdating sa bahay, pagdating sa community, ganun ka rin. Ganon ang ipinakita mong pag-uugali, personalidad, isang tunay na Clarian ka at karapat dapat kang tawagin na student of St. Clair College. Oh, sorry. Ito, bawal. Bawal po. No smoking inside the school. Oh, biglang tumungo si Ma'am Joy at pahabol. No vaping inside the school. Diba? Nako, ayan na, nahuli ako ni Sir. Sir, sorry po wag na po nating gagawin yan. Bawal na bawal smoking inside the school premises, even outside, within the premises. Bawal din po ang vaping. Pupunta ako ng CR, magtatago ako. Bawal po yon. Doon po sa classroom, bawal po yon. Sa corridor, bawal po yon. May pit na ipinagbabawal dito sa loob ng ating paaralan, sa paligid ng ating paaralan, ang ating mga estudyante ay naninigarilyo at nagbe-vaping. Okay? Ano pa? Ang gaganda, di ba, Sir Adi, pag nandito sila, baka naman pag face-to-face, Sir Adi, naka-blazer, naka-school uniform. Anong reminder sa akin, Sir Adi? Ano yung Sir Adi? Dapat kahit po kayo ay naka-online class, dapat ang ating mga estudyante, di ba Ma'am Joy, naka-proper attire. Kasi nga po, yung inyong mga guro ay naka-proper grooming at dapat lang naman ay pantayan din po natin. So, ano po ang paalala ng ating OSAS? Kayo man ay naka-face-to-face, dapat naka-proper attire. Kayo man ay naka-online class, dapat po naka-proper attire din. Okay? So, ano pa? Ay, ito po, pasensya na po mga estudyante, talagang bawal po ito. Pagpapasok po ng school premises, bawal po yung sa lalaki to, yung merong hikaw. Ngayon, pag tinanggal nyo, dapat tanggal po talaga yon. Hindi po yung tanggal, kabit. Bawal po yon. Kaya mas maganda, para wala na po tayong problema, bago po tayo pumasok, huwag na po nating gawin yan sapagkat talaga po tayo ay masisita ng ating security. Okay? Then, a very important, sabagay siguro 1, 2, bago ito, bawal din po pumasok sa loob ng ating paaralan with dangerous weapon. Wala po kayong kalaban dito sa loob. So, bawal po yon. Okay? Kaya, at kung kayo naman po ay nandun, Sir Adi, di ba? Dun sa truck, let's say HE, na may gagamitin, kailangan po, ano dapat gagawin, Sir Adi? Ipagpaalam nyo muna po sa ating principal sapagkat yan po kailangan merong mga dapat pa-improve. Okay? So, bawal pong pumasok na nakainom. Hindi po yung nakalasing lang. Yung nakainom po, bawal lang pumasok. Bawal na bawal po yun. Huwag po natin gagawin yun. Okay? Kasama po sa ating school rules and regulation po yan. Okay? At dito na po tayo. Nakikita ko po, marami pang tayong dapat pag-usapan, pero makikita niyo po yung kabuuan ng ating school rules nandun po sa ating St. Clair College website. Ito po, bigyan ko lang ng isang paalala na pagdating po sa social media, let us observe proper etiquette. Okay? Gagaya po ngayon, tayo po ay naka-live. So dapat po, ano po ang sabi ni Sir Adi, makinig po tayo, alamin po natin, mag-note taking po tayo sapagkat may kasabihan nga po, ignorance of the law excuses no one. Hindi ko sir narinig yan na diniscuss, hindi po dahilan yon. Kaya po, mas mabuting tayo ay maging aware ng ating school rules and regulation sapagkat hindi man po narinig, pero yan po ay pinatutupad ng ating paaralan, ipinagbabawal po ng batas ng Republika ng Pilipinas, yan po ay ipatutupad natin. Lalo na po kung yan po ay nasasakop ng tinatawag nating revised penal code. Kaya po, mga grade 11, grade 12, mas mabuti pong huwag po natin gawin yung mga bawal dito po sa ating paaralan. Going back sa social media etiquette, respeto sa paggamit ng social media, paggalang, lalong-lalo na po pag kayo ay naka-online class, dapat po ibigay ang tamang pananalita, respeto, pag-uugali, habang tayo po ay naka-online class. So, mga students, Alam ko po, mahaba-haba pa to, ngunit I just outline to you the very significant, important things that you have to remember. However, even if it was not mentioned, take note that what is written in our school rules and regulation, what is in our school policy, what is implemented by the law, the students of our grade 11 and grade 12 should adhere. Dito po sa St. Clair, hinuhubog po natin ang tamang pag-uugali, tamang kaisipan ng isang estudyante. Sapagkat gusto po natin ang ating mga estudyante ay maging kapaki-pakinabang sa ating komunidad upang pagdating nyo po sa kolehiyo at makatapos ng pag-aaral, kayo po ngayon ay magiging bahagi ng global workforce. Isang mapagpalang hapon sa inyo lahat. Maraming salamat. See you sa ating paaralan. God bless.
Once again, our Director of the Office of the Student Affairs and Services, palakpakan po natin at pasalamatan, no other than Attorney Petronilio Alarcon. Ayan. Maraming salamat po for discussing to our students ang kahalagan po ng pagsunod sa ating school policies and guidelines. Ayun po, no, reminder lang po sa ating programa ngayong araw, no, nag-send po tayo ng link, no, ng link po or Google Form link po sa inyong mga advisors para po kayo ay makapagpa-attendance, no, through our Google Form. And we would just want to reiterate po, no, isa rin po sa mga requirement ng PEAC po, no, o nangangasiwa ng ating voucher ay ang attendance nyo po, no, o katunayan o proof na kayo po ay umattend sa orientation na ito. So make sure po, no, na wag matapos ang araw na ito na kayo ay nakapag-attendance po at kasama or i-upload nyo po ang screenshot ng ating programa o ating live program for today. Sa lahat naman po ng mga estudyante o mga magulang na hindi po nakadalo o hindi po nakapanood po ng ating orientation ngayong araw, ay ito pong ating live program ay nakapost po, no? Ito po ay nakapost sa ating St. Clair Online YouTube channel. Yan po ang ating official YouTube channel dito po sa ating paaralan, no? I-search lang po natin ang St. Clair Online at hanapin po ang programa ngayong araw, ang Senior High School Voucher Program po, no? At i-sure po natin na makasagot po tayo again ng ating attendance form. Ayan. Sana po narinig po kayo, medyo umiingay na tayo dito sa ating lugar, pero sana po ay narinig nyo po ang ating mga reminder sa araw na ito. Ayan po, no? Again, don't forget po na attendance ay requirement po din yan sa atin, no? At again po, yung ating po mga SF9 o ang tinatawag nating report card o Form 138 ay urgent na po na ipasa po yan dito sa atin, no? Isa po yan sa bagong requirement po ng PEAC na kailangan po na isubmit natin para po sa inyong mga voucher. Ayan. So isasend po natin ang recording na ito sa inyong mga advisor plus. Ito po again ay posted sa ating YouTube channel. So sa mga hindi po naka-attend ay pwede po natin itong balik-balikan anytime, anywhere, anyhow. Ayan. Shout out po, no, meron isang parent po na nag-PM sa akin sa Messenger. Salamat po for attending, no? Very participative. So shout out po natin si Ma'am Mary Joy Malakaw. Hello po, good afternoon, Ma'am Mary Joy. Ayan. Nakakatuwa po, no? At sa ating comment section po, no, shout out din natin. May mga iba rin po tayo mga parents, no? Mga magulang na talaga na mga nakatutok sa ating programa, no, para maiwasan po any problema po sa voucher, no, sa ating subsidy para sa ating mga anak. Ayan. Okay. So may tanong tayo dito, no, sir? Ask ko lang po kung saan, kung para po yan sa mga fresh grad po. Lahat po, ang ating orientation po ay para po sa lahat po ng senior high school po. Na baka nakuli lang po ng panonood. No? Ang ginagawa po natin orientation ay para po sa lahat ng senior high school students ng Senior College grade 11 at grade 12 po, no? At again, a reminder po, kailangan ma-verify po ninyo kung anong category kayo. Kayo ba ay category A, B, C, D, E, or F? At diniscuss din po natin yung mga requirements na kailangan nyo ipasa. Urgent na po yan sa lahat. Ayan. So meron pa po tayong mga katanungan or anything you need clarification, ay makipag-ugnayan po tayo sa Office of the Principal and look for our Principal, Ms. Maria Rebecca Palad. We can also look for our Office of the Principal Personnel, Mr. Lo Sautong. Maaari rin po yung makapag-ugnayan sa akin, Sir Adi, at sa inyo mga dear advisors. Ayan. And to formally wrap up po to formally close po ang ating program for today, tawagin po natin ang isa sa ating guidance advocate from our guidance office. Palakpakan po natin si Ms. Maria Linda Zapanta. Ma'am Malen?
Okay, good afternoon, Sir Adi. Thank you, Sir Adi. Okay, naririnig na po ba ako?
Yes
Okay.
po.
So, thank you, Sir Adi. To our dear parents, to our Clarion Senior High School students, teachers, and to our school administrators, special to our dear President, Dr. Clarita G. Adalem, good afternoon. We are extending our hands and our hearts for every services that we can offer to our students, especially to you, our dear parents. If ever that you still have questions or other concerns related to what we have discussed this afternoon, or whatever other concerns, please don't hesitate to come and visit us at St. Clair College Guidance Office. We are located at the ground floor po, tapat po ng Emma Theater po. And we will be glad to be of service with you with all our hearts. We will look forward to to work with you hand in hand and heart to heart to the betterment of our learners and to make this academic school year 2023-2024 more experiential and more fruitful for all of us. Ang serbisyo pong binibigay po namin dito sa St. Clair ay hindi lamang po para sa kapakanan ng ating mga estudyante. Mas lalo't higit po na makatulong kami sa inyong mga magulang na matulungan kayo sa paghahanda sa magandang kinabukasan po ng ating mga anak. Ang tagumpay po ng ating mga anak ay hindi lang po tagumpay nila, bagkus sa higit po tagumpay din po ng ating mahal na institusyon, St. Clair College. In behalf po na mga kasama ko dito po sa Center for Guidance Services, Dr. Catherine Pagulayan, Dr. Roslita Montarde, and to our registered guidance counselor, Dr. Ginny Quirante. Ako po si Ma'am Malen Zapanta, your guidance advocate. Nagsasabi po na ang serbisyo po namin ay nagbumulat ng gagaling po sa aming puso. Muli, maraming salamat po at magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.
Ayan, once again, our guidance advocate, Ms. Maria Linda Zapanta. Maraming salamat po. No? So that concludes our program for today. Once again, reminders lang po, ang programa po ng ating Senior High School Voucher Orientation Program ay nakapost po sa ating St. Clair Online YouTube channel, the official YouTube channel of St. Clair College, na pwede nyo pong panoorin at balik-balikan anytime, anywhere, anyhow, para po mabalikan natin o ma-review po natin yung mga guidelines at yung mga requirements po na kailangan po natin ipasa. Kung meron pa po kayong mga katanungan ay makapag-ugnayan po tayo sa Office of the Principal at sa inyong mga dear respective advisors. At napakahalaga po talaga ng discussion natin today sa ating mga estudyante at para sa ating mga magulang para naman po talaga maging maayos at matiwasay po ang ating subsidy para sa school year 2023-2024. Ayan po. Again, I would like to take this opportunity also to remind our students po regarding our digital ID, digital passport. Sa lahat po na hindi pa nakapagpa-schedule ay pumunta lang po tayo sa stclaironline.com/PMS. Once po na kayo ay nakapag-schedule na, ay maki-verify o mako-confirm nyo po ang araw ng inyong schedule of pictorial at araw na marireceive po ang ID sa stclaironline.com/LMS na po yan. Kung kayo naman po ay nakapagpa-schedule na pero hindi po naka-attend sa araw ng inyong supposed schedule, ay pwede pa po kayo magpa-ID. Ang gawin lang po ay mag-fill up po ulit tayo ng scheduler form sa stclaironline.com/PMS. Ayan. Okay. So may mga katanungan pa po, pwede pa tayo makahingi ng like dyan or mga heart. Kung lahat po ay malinaw sa ating program today, ayan. Tara na, let's go. No? So ayan, no? Nina Michelle Gondayo, hello sa'yo. Good afternoon. Shoutout din natin si Genesis Kilbio of Arts and Design. Ayan, no? Kasama rin natin, siyempre pasalamatan natin ang mga advisors of the Senior High School Department. Talaga na pa ang sisipag at maraming salamat po. And once again, thank you to our Board Secretary and Legal Counsel for discussing the Senior High School Implementing Guidelines, Attorney J. Paulo Adalem. Kasama rin po natin siyempre ang nag-discuss po ng School Policies and Guidelines, Attorney Petronilio Alarcon, our Director of the Office of the Student Affairs and Services. At siyempre ang ating mahal na Principal, Ms. Maria Rebecca Parad, for joining us today, and also our Guidance Advocate, Ms. Maria Linda Zapanta. Maraming salamat po, lalo na sa mga magulang na kasama po at nakinuod sa atin sa araw na ito. Ako po si Teacher DJ Ali on behalf of the Center for Online Education System, together with our Director, Ms. Joy Naturales. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the day. God bless Clarions.
Of the future, let's sing our hand to greet tomorrow's dream. With just one voice, we raise your name. Oh, hail our dear Saint Clair. Inspired by your dreams and aspirations, and goals for all humanity. We lift our voices, raise your banner, proclaim your cause on high. For your achievements and goals are a light to our path, the soul of all wisdom. And you're a model to us, those in need of your light, the hand in the Master's touch. Hope of the future, let's in our hand to greet tomorrow's dream. We just one voice, we raise your name. Oh, hail our dear Saint Clair. Inspired by your dreams and aspirations, and goals for all humanity. We lift our voices, raise your banner, proclaim your cause on high. For your achievements and goals are a light to our path, the soul of all wisdom. And you're a martyr to us, those in need of your light.